We're your
Trauma
trauma dumpsters.
dumpsters.
And this is a safe space for your trauma because we're all a little unhealed here. Today, you're hanging out with Kaci.
And Brittany.
Let's get into it. Hey!
Hi.
Hello. You're here today with Trauma Dumpster Kaci, and I kind of somewhat solo hosting. However, I did rope a friend into being a guest co-host. So welcome to my friend H.
Hi, everybody.
So excited, and I'm like, this is probably the episode that I'm the most excited for at this time. One, because it's a reunion. That is just, I'm so excited about it. And two, because we're going to talk about some shit that I'm pretty excited to talk about. And we have my guest, Lily, here today.
Hello. Hi. I'm here to talk about trauma. So exciting.
This is the place you dump it all, girl.
Let's go.
So we are give an introduction to how we know each other and who we are. Is I was one of Lily's youth pastors.
Yeah. Crazy.
So
No. You didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know.
We didn't know. Yeah, I was one of Lily's youth leaders. I've known you since you were in
Probably like 6th grade, 7th grade?
Yeah,
Maybe earlier.
So. 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe. Yeah.
Tiny baby.
Tiny baby. We got to grow up a little bit together, and then we really got to grow up separately.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about any of this before. So
yeah, we haven't at all. I reached out to her. I've been wanting to do an episode like this for a while, but you know, it's an interesting place that we came from. Mm-hmm. We are not going to, for purposes of not getting my ass sued, we're not going to talk about we're not going to say the name of the place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not going to say the names of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I was told, however, we could say the name of the place and I won't get sued. But I think let's just...
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the same church, and we both at different times found out we were in
a cult.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're a sing-songy person. Our last guest told us, they're like, you guys are very sing-songy people.
It's way more fun. And I feel like when you're nervous or you're like talking about serious things, you just have to bust out a song.
Yeah, I agree. So obviously we had very different experiences because I was very deep on leadership in this place, and you were one of my babies.
I was a baby. And also, you were so cool. Kaci was the coolest. Everyone wanted to be Kaci.
It's nice because I mean, that's so cute and nice to hear from somebody like you, because the people that I was around, like, for me, that was a very different experience. Like, they were like, we're going to make sure that we're going to build you up and make you feel like this, but then we're going to make sure that you always stay knocked down a couple fucking pegs.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't feel cool.
Nope.
I was everybody's...
No one did.
Yeah, I was everybody's bitch.
I do think that you specifically, which I feel like we'll get more into this when we talk about you leaving, but specific people who will not be named, liked to be really nice to you and then talk shit all the time, which was the vibe of the culture. The culture. It was very toxic, where we're all really nice to each other, and then behind backs, like, did you see what Kaci was wearing? I can't believe she would wear that. You know what I mean?
You know what's so funny? Also, that particular person, I think the person who was the closest to me, the one who was my maid of honor.
Yes.
Yeah. She, you know who dressed her ass every Sunday?
You? Which I actually kind of remember that.
which is like petty drama tea. But I was just having a conversation with somebody about that because my apartment and her house, there was that. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I was thinking about that when I was driving here because I also lived really close to you guys. I remember walking to your apartment for movie nights, and I was like 13.
Yeah. You guys were like, honestly, you guys were like my little sisters because I was not that. How old are you?
I'll be 31.
Okay, yeah. So like you were probably one of the youngest in that era, but like I literally went from being a high schooler at 18 to being a high school leader like
It's
immediately.
crazy.
And so some of you, I was only like 1 to 4 years, and then obviously I was in it for like a handful of years, so I got a little bit older. But like all of you guys were like my little sisters.
Yeah. Well, something that I think about a lot with that specific place and then just this Christian church culture in general is people get really sucked in, and because of how I am and how I question everything, I can't believe some of the people that I grew up with, so many of them are still there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just designed to really suck you in and you can't leave. So you were literally graduating high school and then in it. Like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I didn't like, this is not about me. I want to actually talk more about your experience, but like, I didn't come into it the same way you came into it, right? You had family.
Yes. And I was a kid.
And you were a kid.
Which
like,
you were too, but.
Right. But I started going at 15 because I had a very broken home. Like, I have a friend, I think I've said this before, but maybe not on here, but I know I've said it like many times before. But I have a friend who I'm obsessed with watching cult documentaries. I want cynical, obsessed with the cult.
Yeah, I've been in 2. I'm very, very obsessed. I was in a second cult right after for 3 whole years.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed. I'm sure I can. Can they sue you?
You can talk. Yeah, you can say that. We just can't say people's names.
Okay.
Because then they could sue us for defamation. But we can say like an organization.
Okay.
So, I came in at 15, a very damaged, very broken girl, and so. You know, and then these people and a particular family that I had like moved in with, like they had it all together and they were perfect, and you know, they were all so much better than me. And that was really the narrative they held on to, is that they were all so much better than me, and like never said it, but it was always this feeling of like Kaci was the broken girl. You know what I mean?
Fucked.
Which is like so
literally like the opposite of what the book they're obsessed with talks about.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so you were one of my high schoolers, and we did all sorts of trips, and you came and hung out at my house, and we did movie nights, and sometimes we did like Super Bowl parties, and I was very close with your family, which I do still love your family, but you know, I do. Yeah, we were very integrated, and then I left.
Yeah. Do you want me to get into when you left?
I do. I'm like so when you said, because you said to me when we were messaging, you said you leaving was like and seeing how they like treated you was my first red flag, and I was like, yeah, what did they say? Like, what did I'm because I can imagine, right? I saw other people, other pastors leave, and I know what was said about them, and I know how when the pastors that were my youth pastors, and I was very, very close with them, when they left, I know what happened to me, which was the other pastors sunk their fucking claws in so deep to make sure that I didn't, because I was questioning, and so to make sure that I didn't know why they left and to paint them in such a negative light, and they were the problem, and they never cared about me, and they, you know, all these things. That's what was said to me. So I could only assume what was said to you, but I'm so curious.
Well, I don't really remember specifics. I think in the same way you just described it backing up, like zooming out. If you're a part of something and leaving makes you an enemy, that's just bad. like just to really make it elementary, like if you decide something isn't right for you and you want to leave and then they paint you as a monster, I'm glad we got out of there. I don't want to be a part of something like that.
Red fucking alert.
Huge red alert. And I feel like I definitely saw bits and pieces. I won't name names, but there's a pastor couple and their family that left, I think before you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Those were my youth pastors.
Yes. Yeah. And when they left, I feel like I was kind of aware of like the gossip mill I mean, it was just like, I don't leave, like, it's hard to even get it. Like, they just like paint anyone outside of this church as bad. And I was kind of aware of it when they left. And I'm also someone that questions literally everything.
Yeah.
And everything growing up, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, this feels like
Which made you problematic.
Which may be problematic.
Yeah, because if you question, that makes you problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm such a questioner. I'm very existential. And I remember like talking to my dad one time being like, yeah, someone told me I'm existential. And he was like, that's not good. Like, well, I just like to question things because I want to know. And I'm probably also maybe a little autistic or something. But, it's like, that's just how I function. So I was already as like a young kid kind of like half one foot in, one foot out. Like this is the whole world I was raised in. I went to private Christian schools that this church ran. Like this was my world I was in.
Yeah. So how was your education?
Oh, don't ask me anything about math. I never had sex ed. Google did that for me. Yeah, no, not the best education.
Yeah.
But to circle back, like I was already in that place because that's who I am. And then you were someone that I just loved and looked up to a lot. And I didn't know much of what was going on behind the scenes. And then you left and it just flipped where you were this like awesome youth leader that everyone loved to like evil monster. How dare you? Deceived. Like there's such that gross narrative of like the devil is out trying to deceive everyone.
Yeah.
And so if you leave, it's just the devil. There was no talk or even option of thinking about it being that maybe it just wasn't the right fit for you because that doesn't exist for them.
Did they do a service about us? Did they?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I would not be surprised. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they wouldn't like name your name, but I would not be surprised. I don't remember. Okay, another thing that with recording a podcast, I'm hoping this is okay. My memory from my childhood is so blurry because I think I was constantly in a place of like weighing like what's true, what's manipulation from adults, even subconsciously, because I was questioning everything. So my childhood is very blurry. I remember feelings.
That's really interesting to me. I've talked about this before because I'm always so interested to hear people who have had trauma. There's a lot of people who did the repression route who they're like, oh, I don't really remember my childhood, where I went into hypervigilance. Like I remember everything.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously like detailed conversations, but like even like beyond, but that's just like an interesting thing to me when people, there's so many people who have like repressed stuff instead of held on to it. I'm like, oh, your girl is really looking anxious because you hypervigilance, babe. Hypervigilance.
I do have my own brand of hypervigilance, which I'm highly medicated now, so it helps. But I think that's just the ADHD. Like, I mean, I'm highly medicated and I'm still all over the place. Like, yeah.
Well, they also say that trauma gives us, these special conditions as well. Oh.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, our brains are forming. My brain formed in that, I can't think of words, culture, environment.
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah. So you, like, I left and you were like, this seems weird. How is she the worst all of the sudden?
Yeah, I think I just like actually cared about you guys, and then it was weird that all of a sudden we were supposed to not care and not hope you're doing well, and we're just supposed to be like, bye over there, they're being dumb and bad,
they're going to hell,
and my brain doesn't
straight to it.
No, and that is the way. I wouldn't say like my parents were sitting around talking like that. It was definitely like the way environments like that work, where people are under their breath, hush, hush, kind of like, oh, did you hear this thing? Well, it's because of this. It's just so gross and slimy. And a specific person was the main person, of course, spreading those things.
Yeah. Do you want to know the funniest thing about that to give you perspective. So that person, part of which you don't even know why I left,
No,
which is
I
probably
truly
an
still don't know. I've always just assumed it wasn't for you because it wasn't for me.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I'm sure there's like big, yeah.
So when I said like I was everybody's bitch, like truly, like the two that were the youth pastors that we were best friends and under them, like I was their bitch. I was the deliverance pastor. I was doing all of his office work, and then like
Which, I mean, that we won't. But
oh yeah.
yeah.
Ugh. Anyway,
Anywho,
my husband's like, yeah, fucking knew it the whole time. He hated him. Hated him. So, Josh, you probably don't know this. Josh saw it and was like, and maybe you recall, but like there was a time for a couple of years, like he was not super involved in like events and stuff like that. But that's because he started pursuing his medic career, and they had nothing but negative things to say about it because, you know, our path, our destiny, it was to be on leadership, to be pastors, regardless of like what it cost us. You know what I mean? They were never going to like actually employ us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there was never that. They didn't care that we weren't thriving because they never actually wanted us to thrive because we were under those two other people.
Yes.
And that made her feel
powerful. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, she does famously love control and to be in charge of people, and it has only continued to push people away for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when all you want is to be a popular girl in high school and you're still striving for that at nearly 40. Was that shady?
I mean, this is a safe place, Kaci. You're allowed to say
Is this my episode?
I want it to be.
You guys are supposed to talk trash to me, so
Yeah, that's Adrian's just here to hear the
tea.
Yeah. When said person got pregnant, which I've been pregnant, I understand like it can be a rough go, but they happen to be extremely tyrannical. Do you remember the trip that we took up to Wild Waves? And there was one girl who was not a popular girl who was deemed as annoying, and she like told a joke or something like that. And it wasn't like a very funny joke, but that youth pastor literally like embarrassed her in front of the whole bus of kids, and it was just like, she's a fucking child. Like why are you trying to humiliate a child when you're an adult and you're supposed to be in leadership? Anyways, there was a lot of that happened, and there was a lot of weird pull away from me, which we were like, I mean, there wasn't one without the other. And so there was this kind of
you
like,
really were like sidekicks, like
literally.
yeah. Which is again why it was such a red flag to me when you left, and that person flipped so hard, because it made no sense.
It made no sense.
You were best friends. You cared about each other. When you care about someone, you don't do that. Like
right.
Yeah.
So long story short, we had kind of, there was like division between us. I had kind of pulled back, but then I was like, oh, you know what? This is not, I don't really like who I am when I'm the puppet of this person, because that's what I was.
Yeah.
And my husband actually had a really hard time with her at all times. And, you know, but
was it because he saw how she was treating you?
Because he grew up with her.
Oh,
he knew her forever. And so, like, yeah. And then he's just like, she treats you poorly. She treats other people poorly. But, like, now she's treating teenage kids poorly. Like, what are we doing here? So that gave me, like, time to take a pause and, like, step back. Well, then in the midst of that, there was another girl who was doing middle school leadership.
Oh, yes.
Yes. She and I had gotten very close because we were both being treated like shit. And then the baby was born, and it was just like weird between her and I. And then I went to one of the high school girls that I had always been very close with, they had their name was what was used to describe them at all times. And they were quote unquote problematic because they were loud and they were authentic. We know them, we love them. She and I had gone to the lake and she was like, "Can I ask you something?" And I was like, "You can ask me anything." She was like, "Do you really love your husband?" And I was like, "What?" It's like, "What kind of question is that?" Like, "Yeah, I love my husband." She's like, "Well, do you guys sleep in the same bedroom?" And I was like, "Yeah, but that's like a weird question. What are you getting at?" She's like, "Well, there were a couple of us, like the popular girls, the little core girls. They went on a shopping trip. And apparently I was the topic of conversation the entire trip.
This is while you're still there.
This is why I was still there. And there was a lot of conversation. I used to take care of my nephew a lot. Anyways, there was all this conversation that was essentially like telling these teenage girls, like making up stories that I only took care of my nephew because I was jealous that she could have a baby and I couldn't. And like all sorts of like weird. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I know that we're kind of in like a weird place, but I thought this was like a life thing, not like you're my best friend and you are saying really fucking weird things to teenage girls behind my back where I'm supposed to be a role model for them.
It's great. Like, just even if I didn't know who you're talking about or where this was, that's crazy. Like, someone who's in charge of teenagers and leading them closer to God. And it's just literally the amount of shopping we went on, the amount of outlet malls we drove to, the amount of just gossip. Like, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the sermons. I remember the shit talking.
Yeah.
And Hollister.
And Forever 21.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. I was like, that's kind of weird. So it made me obviously like, I don't like how that's going. And it started making me question things. And then, anyway, there was a blow up that happened between two high school girls. And it was very petty high school girl stuff, right? Okay. So I got to backtrack really quick. All before this, the year leading up to this, there was, the family that I lived with in high school. Yeah. Okay. There was a lot of shit that went down with that. And I was put in a position where I, like 5 years later, had to take full accountability for all of it. And like, it was a very, like, the senior pastors, like, put me through like a ton. And then I had to go through like a bunch of deliverance, which deliverance is exorcisms. Exorcisms.
It really is. I mean, it sounds like we're being dramatic, but that is what it was.
It really was, is what it was. And so it was like
demons out of young children in a quote unquote prayer shack.
But who was always in the prayer shacks? It wasn't the boys. It was always the girls.
It was always the girls.
It was always the girls, because the girls are the ones that are problematic. So I had just come out of like a year of essentially just like being torn, which I was like, oh God, like it's the fire of God burning and cleansing me and purifying me. And I have to do this because this is what the Lord wants and blah, blah, blah. And I have to be humble.
I mean, we're talking about this all very candidly right now, but when you're in it, it is really real. Like, you really believe you're bad. You need quote unquote deliverance, which is them putting you in a room, a very small, they were literally called shacks.
Yeah, they were prayer shacks.
Prayer shacks, which is like funny that they're called that because that's what they were.
It's like the garden shed, like the nice garden sheds that you can go, and sometimes people turn them into like studios or she sheds or whatever. And there's like little couches and a whiteboard. And they like, you're all like in there with a male pastor.
Yes.
It's always a male pastor. They'll invite like I had to be, I don't think I was ever in any of your deliverance sessions, but like.
It was always the other.
I had to be in deliverance sessions, and like, we can get into that, but like, yeah.
Yeah. And also I do think that was it a rule that they had to have two people when they were teenagers?
Yeah.
Because I do remember one time where it was just me and the head deliverance pastor, and I felt really weird.
Yeah.
But all the other sessions, there would be someone like you there accompanying us. But anyways, when you're in this environment and you've been in it for years or you've been raised in it, like, again, I always had a thing in the back of my head questioning, but I did just believe I must be bad. Spirit of rebellion was the one that they love to stamp on me. I now say it proudly. I'm like, I have a spirit of rebellion.
Oh, that's like Jezebel for me.
Yeah.
Because my husband did his own laundry and like cooked and cleaned. And so I was a bad wife and had spirit of Jezebel. That man cooks way more than I fucking do. Like, she's back and better than ever, babe.
God forbid you're a team.
God forbid a man do wash his own underwear. Like, literally, that deliverance pastor was like, you make your husband wash his own chonies? Yeah.
So when you're in the shed, are they just questioning you or what's happening?
I don't think they're giving you much room to talk.
They essentially like establish what they think the demon is and like what the problem is that they're going to deal with that day. And they will ask you questions of like, this. He was always so afraid that I had dabbled in witchcraft before.
Which was so big. I think in the early 2000s, 90s Christian world, witchcraft was really a big thing for some reason. But that was the thing they always were like, this is the spirit of witchcraft. And it's like, I literally just like...
Oh, no, but he would be like, are you sure?
Essential oils.
Right. He'd be like, are you sure you never did? You never tried any spells? You never like dabbled?
Did a Ouija board?
Yeah. He'd be like, you never like messed around with tarot? I'm like, we won't. Now I'm like burning my intentions under the full moon.
Did you watch Harry Potter growing up though?
I didn't, but I'm obsessed
Me neither.
with it now. Obsessed with it. I just got Harry Potter's wand tattooed on the side of my ass.
I love it. The spirit of witchcraft is with you forever.
So they didn't really like, they would ask you certain things about like your history or past, but it was mostly like they already decided what the problem was and what they were going to pray out of you. And there was kind of like some talking, but like, yeah, there were some like really icky sessions of having to be in with like teenage girls and like the details that they wanted to know about their time and the way that they explored their bodies, and they wanted to know very detailed and explicitly and how they like it was really gross. Like, anyway,
Yes.
So back to try and like speed this up because I want to hear more about you. I just didn't feel like I started questioning being on high school leadership. Like, not questioning like my being in church, but like maybe I don't belong in this role, in this position. But I was like, but I love these kids so freaking much that like I can't like take time for myself to like leave them. But I was questioning it a lot, and there was like a very high school drama situation that happened between two of the girls, and it was one of the girls and another girl. They went and they egged a boy's car. And do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm vaguely remembering this. I think I know who it is, but
yeah, I'll tell you after. And one of the other girls, whose parents also had a lot of money and were very prominent, got super pissy, and they were little catfighting, like 16, 17-year-old girl bullshit. And they both called me, and they were like, and I said, guys, like, I said to the one girl who was like throwing, I was like, this doesn't involve you. It wasn't your car. It wasn't your family. Like, you're kind of involving yourself in something that's not your problem. I've already talked to the other girl. Her parents know. I was like, you can go talk to your parents about it. And I was like, what I think you guys need to do is like, you still have to exist around each other. So you should probably just like, I'm not saying you have to be best friends, but I'm saying you probably need to find some common ground. So why don't we meet at church, on Wednesday? I'll sit down with you. And they both agreed to it, right? And then Wednesday came around, and the one showed up, and she was like, I'm terrified. I was like, it's going to be fine. Literally, this is like, your parents already know. Her parents already know. Like, this is like, whatever. And the other one did not show up. And it turned out that one did not like the way that I handled it, because the other one didn't get in trouble. And so she went to...
I already knew where this was going.
Yeah, went there, and which is like, okay, whatever, right? And I was like, whatever, this is like literally teenage drama bullshit, and it was fine. Well, then the other, so the other youth pastors, who were the youth pastors of everything at that time,
yes,
he called me, and he was like, hey, did you know about this situation? And I said, yeah, it's stupid teenage girl drama stuff. And he's like, well, why didn't you come to me? And I said, because both of the parents already know about it. It's not really like pastors don't need to be involved. It's not a church related thing.
Exactly what I was going to say. Why are you in trouble for? Oh, it makes no sense. They want to be involved in everything.
Everything,
which is why it's a cult.
Why it's a cult. Which is the first time I ever took that stance on something, because I had already started. What really started to wake me up is I started working at a bank.
And yes, I remember Bank Kaci.
I was working at a bank, and I was given 40 hours a week by my corporate job to go volunteer, paid time off during work hours to go volunteer. And I was actually getting involved in the community. And so through a corporate bank, I was learning about serving my community more than I ever had in this church. Wow. Who's supposed to live and love and walk like Jesus. And I was learning more about giving back to my community in a corporate setting than I ever was. And it made me question. And it made me question, like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm taking girls to the mall and having sleepovers and movie nights and taking you to, like, amusement parks.
And really just, like, which, hey, I'll give you this. Like, those things are impactful when you're a teenager, when you have a cool older person. I mean, you are so old. An 18-year-old. Someone who's like in their early 20s that's like taking time to hear about your life. Like that's impactful.
Yeah.
That's not all bad. But it is weird how, to me, it just is. They just want to have their claws in everyone. They want to be involved in everyone's business. And I did not like talking about my business to certain people.
Yeah.
Because I watched very closely how the rumor mill. And then I learned very quickly how to keep my life very separate on one side. I had like the boys I was doing stuff with and smoking weed with over here. And then I was at church on the worship team. Yeah. And it really wasn't even like, I didn't feel like I was living a double life. It was completely compartmentalized because it was like almost for safety. Like I can't be this over here at church, but I need this part of, like, I'm a kid. I'm trying to just explore and like, I don't know. And I also just, the shame never quite got me. I didn't really feel a lot of shame for the shit I was doing, which is cool.
But, you know, I think that's amazing, though.
I don't know how that worked.
Really amazing.
But,
well,
yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, I loved how you said that too, where you're like, it wasn't me trying to be essentially like duplicitous, but it's like me just trying to like compartmentalize and like do what's expected, but also still be a kid.
Yeah, totally. And you hanging out with us as teens and taking us to movies and stuff like that was because you cared. I never got the vibe that I got from the other person from you, ever. Because it never felt like it was... never. Okay. Which, again, is why when you left, I was like, oh, weird. Why are we mad at her? Yeah, well, she was so good.
That makes me really happy. The long story short, they were like, why didn't you say this? And I was like, it wasn't your business. And then he was like, well, I have a really pissed off mother, and you need to call and like eat humble pie and just like apologize. And again, I had just had to do all of this with that family. And so I said, you know what? Sure. Why the hell not? That's what I'm asked to do all the time, is just to, like, I had to absorb everybody else's shit. Yes. People could be shitty, and Kaci was the sacrificial lamb to go and apologize. And so I did. I called her, and she chewed my ass like there was the mother. Chewed my ass like there was no tomorrow, called me a liar. And then, which I'm like, okay, whatever, that's aggressive. But what got me was, she then started to shit talk the other 17-year-old girl involved. And I had been the 17-year-old girl that adults shit talked and then whole family shit talked. And then like I was that person, and that triggered me so deeply that I'm like, she's fucking 17. You're a 40-something-year-old woman. Like, what are you doing saying things like that about it? Anyways, so I hung up the phone and I looked at my friend who was living with us, he was like my brother, and I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. Because he was present for that. He was like, what the just happened? And I was like, I'm so done.
Did he go to the church as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We named a game after.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love. Also like my brother.
Yeah. And anyway, so I called the other pastor back, and I was not okay. And he was like, oh my God, how did it go? I was like, not good. Not good at all, obviously. And so we talked about it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I fed you to the wolves. And I said, there's nothing new. This is nothing new. And I said, I'm done. He goes, yeah. No, you don't have to call her back. I said, no, I'm done being in this position. I'm done being on leadership. I'm done doing what everybody asks of me just to be put in this kind of place over and over. I'm done. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I just want you to know, I hear you. I hear you, but I can't promise you this is the last conversation we're going to have. And I said, I know. I fully expect another call. And I hung up the phone, and I looked at my friend brother, and I said, I give it 20 minutes.
Yeah. And can I guess? Did he sick his wife on you? Was she who called you?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like that's a classic move.
Yeah. Made the youth pastor call me back.
Okay. But so he didn't call you back. That's more what I was thinking. And the youth pastor being who I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right. But that went really good.
And
then you stayed because they met you with support and love, and then you stayed. I'm kidding.
Yeah. And then it was all okay.
It was fine. And they talked to the grown-ass woman who's yelling at 20-year-olds and 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
And we're like, you can't do that. This isn't loving. This isn't what Jesus would do.
Yeah.
And then
we're still
it was great. And we're still there, and it's a beautiful community.
This is a pointless podcast that we're doing right now. It was all a sham. In fact, he called back, and he said, okay, so here's what we're thinking. You're going to take the winter off, okay? And you're going to take some time off, and you're going to come in for some prayer. And, you're going to get some prayer, and then you can just, jump back in and in the spring, okay? And just, get back at it. And I said, for the first time in almost a decade, I said, no.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I said, no. And he goes, what? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, if I need to pray, I can pray for myself. But I don't need that. I said, what I need is I need everybody to leave me alone. And if you can respect that, and if you can just leave me alone, then I'll be okay, and I will fix me, and I will be fine, and I can just reintegrate into the congregation, and I can just, move forward. But I'm done in this role. And he was like, okay, I want you to know that I hear you. And I said, I know. I know. I said,
do you think by him saying I hear you, he's implying he hears you, but everyone else isn't going to? Or is he
1,000,000%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think he actually heard you? Because I do have a soft spot for that person still. I do think he cared.
I do think he cared, and I do think that he heard me, and I think that his wife cared, and I think
I do
that
as well.
Because there is a soft spot there, and I do think that I was heard, and I think I was seen, and I had gotten breakfast a couple times with the wife after that, but anyway, my request was to be left the hell alone.
Yeah.
And you know what they didn't do?
I know.
Leave me the hell alone.
Of course not.
And instead,
the claws went in deeper. I bet.
Oh
It's just a guess.
I had people showing up at my nonstop phone calls, nonstop text messages, phone calls to my husband. Then it got to the point that I had the person drive. We were living with my in-laws at the time.
Wait, are we talking about Honcho or the girl?
The girl.
Okay,
the girl.
Just making sure it's not that person.
Yeah, the old best friend.
The old bestie, yes.
Yeah. Gossiping Sally, we'll call her.
Sally.
Right. Sally, right. Well, she rode her ass right to my house. literally at 9 o'clock at night, because I was ignoring her phone calls because shit was coming out. All the shit she had said about me was coming out. And she can't, which then the pastors were like, you played a part in this. Like, they're leaving. Like, everybody was like, oh my God, this.
The facade is crumbling and there's just everyone's like grasping for pieces.
And so she shows up and she's like, I never said any of those things. Like, you have to believe me. You have to believe me. And I said, I don't.
I'm so happy that you had this moment where you're just like middle finger,
Yeah,
which it sucks because I think it came out of you being walked all over for so long that you just were like, fuck it.
Right.
That sucks. So I don't mean, I'm just glad it feels like in a movie, like when the person's finally like, fuck you, I'm dumping him.
Yeah, 2 middle fingers all the way out, bitches. Yeah, it was definitely, it was like that moment, but it was also like, it was my whole world, my entire existence.
Well, that's how it's designed to be.
Right. Because when you leave, then you have literally nothing. So it just escalated from there. There was like so much drama. We can catch up on all of that. There was another fallout moment that kind of like we had to go have a meeting and like it was like, it got really messy. But it was that. It was like everything. Because then I also was like, oh, you know what? I actually do have a problem with the way that you treated me. But also, I have a problem with the way that you treated so many fucking people that I love and care about. And that's what they call a secondhand offense.
Oh, yes.
And I said, girl, I'll have a second, third, fourth, fifth hand fucking offense if I want to at this point. I'm pissed about
Where's the dessert menu?
I'll take one of everything.
Yeah, literally. There's another word for that too. Secondhand offense. And there was, I can hear my dad saying this when I was a kid. Anyways, it'll come to me. There's so many fun little terms like that.
Yeah.
And another thought I had when you were just saying that is there's no room. This is probably not specific to this church. This is probably a Christian thing in general because it's all about your heart. But there's no room for disagreements or arguments or anything. You have to, if you and someone aren't getting along, you have to patch it up. There's no, like, you can't take time.
Yeah.
And so that's partly why I think there was so much gossip, because people were scared to be straight up. Like, I don't like this. I don't like that. They would just kiki kaka over here. So yeah, there's never any room for you to do what you're doing now in this part of the story where you're like, actually, fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Like that. They don't like that.
Because I said, I know who you are. Mm-hmm. I've been your best friend, your puppet for a number of years. Like, I know who these people are that are telling me, and they don't lie. And they have a very negative persona that is given to, or like a very negative image that's portrayed, and they are defined by their last name because they are authentically who they are. They don't fucking lie.
Still are.
They
still love them.
Still are obsessed with them, love them forever and ever, like deeply.
Yes.
And I know who you are. I know who they are, and I know who you are. So I don't believe you. Anyway, there was like a bunch of drama. We had a meeting. I'll tell you about that over a drink. And it was, or in maybe in another episode, I'm sure it'll come out.
We may need part 3, 4, 5 and dessert.
Yeah, exactly. We had agreed at that point that we would reintegrate back in the congregation. We showed up to one church service. We got there late. We sat at the back. We sat on our phones. We left, and we were like, I don't know. And then that other person who was the middle school leader who had become my best friend, all of a sudden she saw me through all of that. And then one day she just flipped.
And I already know what that means.
Yeah. And she was back.
The claws.
Yeah. That was kind of like the last straw. That was devastating and crushing because at the same time, my husband had just joined the military. He was leaving for 6 months. And so I lost all of my friends. I lost all of my friends. I lost all of like everything I knew, everything I held to be true. And I got so deeply depressed. Like I was struggling to get out of bed. And like, that's when my husband was like, you're not fine. And it is crushing my soul to watch you operate in this world right now, because he's like, you're just not okay. So we can do one of two things. We can keep trying to reintegrate, or we can leave. And I said, I want to leave. I'm not a hateful person, and I fucking hate every single one of them. I said that building could catch on fire and they could all burn horrible deaths and I wouldn't fucking care. I could get a text message and hear that they got in a terrible car accident and died tragic deaths and I wouldn't care. And I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry that. I don't want to carry it in my bones. And that's what I'm doing. And I don't want to hate them.
Yeah.
And I want to leave and I want to heal. And that's why we left.
Hell yeah. And it's so cool that you and Josh are still together because
Yeah.
those things can really break. Like when your marriage is founded in a place like that just has its claws in every aspect of your life. When you leave that place, there's like often for people no foundation, but you guys actually really love each other.
Oh, surprise, surprise,
Surprise,
little bitch.
surprise. You don't sleep in separate beds, but if you did, it'd be okay.
Listen, my husband snores like a saw. Sometimes I say, I'm going to need you to go sleep in the guest room, okay? Or
Mama's sleeping
sometimes
on the
we're
couch.
really sick.
Yeah.
And we don't like to share germs. But
Wait,
you know
what
what?
was that? Why did that person think... What did that one person tell the other person that made them think you sleep in separate beds?
Dude, I don't even... There's a whole thing. That'll be...
Yeah.
I there's no grounds for her to say that, but I can explain that to you like off
Subscribe to our Patreon and you'll get the bonus information. Names included.
Names included. Pictures.
Oh God. There's so many.
Okay, so that's why I left. That's the truth behind why I left. It wasn't because it wasn't just for me. It's because I endured so much psychological and emotional and spiritual abuse from the time that I was it really in my early 20s. Once those youth pastors who were like they protected us.
Yes.
They
did
me.
actually care.
They cared. And I love them and I will forever love them. And when they left, like they knew that I would probably go if they didn't sink their claws in. And so from that time, which I think I was 20, so it was like very intense.
You were a baby.
I was a baby.
That's crazy.
Freshly developed frontal lobe.
No, not even. You had 5 years left, right? Isn't it 25?
I think it's 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still,
I'm learning all about the body right now.
I mean, maybe I'm incorrect.
And I know I'm often wrong.
I don't study the body. I sell houses, so maybe you are right.
We definitely haven't talked about the frontal lobe.
Okay.
No, either way, regardless, developed or not, you're a baby.
It was so
20
young.
years old.
20.
I think too, like, there's just this weird thing that church does with people who have a rough past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I even know how to put it into words, but there's like this, like, allowance for gossip and... I don't know, the opposite of what you think a church should do for a teenager coming from a broken home.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like you're allowed to kind of, I don't really even know how to explain it. They treat...
I know what you're trying to say and you're so spot on because it's about image, right? These people they want to have people worship them.
Mm-hmm.
They want people, it's that whole, you wanted to be a popular girl in high school and you weren't. And this is a place where you can be popular because you have roots before this establishment was created. And so you're like church royalty or church celebrity. And then you get these filthy little fucking miscreants who come in who've had a way harder past than you and they're just so worthless. And so you build them up because like obviously that's a facade. That's what we have to do. We have to, play Jesus. So make sure we build them up, but you never let them feel like they could ever be close
100%.
to what you are. And like on that note, it's like my husband was obviously like part of that. Like he grew up with those people. And so I think that's like especially when we got together, like that was my in, right? Like, and I like, that's just coming into my brain now. It's like, would I have been in that position if I didn't marry him? I don't know. It would have just depended on who, if I was with another one of the like status, whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think that was kind of my in. But when he was kind of 1 foot out, because he saw through the bullshit.
Yes.
And he was like, I can't I can't
No.
do this. And he had to watch
I
me.
love him for that.
He had to watch me subject myself to like 2 full years of this like abuse and just whatever. And he's just like, I can't tell her because you don't see it until you see it.
Well, you also there's a part of you that loves what you're doing because because you're a good person.
Yeah. Well, and like you do it because you're just like, oh, well, this is what God wants of me. This is what God wants of me.
And the toxic friendships have parts that feel really good.
Well,
it's
and
not all toxic.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, it is, you know.
It is all toxic, but I also did think that they were better than me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like that's the other thing is they were better than me. I was never going to be as good as them because I had a tainted past because I was a broken girl when I came.
That's I think kind of what I was trying to say. There's like this like unspoken thing where because you came from this past, you're always going to be tainted and broken and you're going to need more deliverance, and it's like the opposite of what they're preaching, and that's why they're deciding that witchcraft and Jezebel's spirit is still in you because they've just decided that.
They've just decided.
Yeah,
they just decided.
That's the way that they're looking at it. And it also keeps you there because you believe what they're telling you.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So
sad.
I left and you were like, this seems weird.
Mm-hmm.
So how long, because how old were you?
Yeah, what year did you leave?
I left in 2012.
I was 17.
You were 17.
I was 16,
right, because
17.
you're the same age as, 16, 17. Okay.
Yep.
And obviously you were still a minor. You were there for a couple of years. Like, how did they try? Like, did you ever question? And if you did, like, did they try and corral you? Or, like, what did it look like for you when we left as youth leaders? Who took our place?
I'm so
you're like,
fuzzy.
oh yeah, you're like, I don't know.
Really,
That's
I
okay.
hate that I don't. Well, I also think by that point I was really like doing stuff secretly all the time.
You were kissing boys and smoking pot.
I really was, and I was so sheltered that I think I just had this separate life I was living, and I didn't really want to be able anymore, but I didn't really have a choice. Like my parents are very involved still. And my sister is really involved. And it's like I didn't have a world outside of that except for what I was creating because we were at church. My school was a part of it. That was kind of it. Like
what boys were you doing stuff with?
Oh, like, Junction City High School.
Oh, Junction JC High School.
Oh, yeah.
Boys.
I made my own friends outside of the church too because I'm very social.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel. I mean, nobody really felt safe at this place, at this church, because you just see how. I mean, the gossip is wild.
Unless you were a chosen one, but like
of
I
course.
think that's why you and I connected is because like, and I say this in the most loving way, is I got the less cool girls. I got the reject.
I'm a dork.
Girls.
I'm a big dork.
Well, you were very silly and very outgoing, and like you were too much for this other person. And so anybody who was mildly authentic, thank God, literally, Lily.
I also think she was too much for me. Like our family, she was close with my parents, and I was kind of
at your house all the fucking time.
Like I was really excited to have someone outside of that.
Yeah, I wasn't as cool, and so I got the less cool girls, but like, thank goodness, because those were the girls who were the most authentic to themselves. Do you remember when I took you guys trick-or-treating? Did you go? When Maria dressed up as pregnant jewel thieves? Did you get to go?
I probably didn't because my parents didn't let us trick or treat, even though I was probably like 17.
Yeah, like, yes, I think you guys were like 16, 17 because...
I remembered those outfits, though. I can see the Facebook picture of you two.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you were in that group because a couple of the girls, and it was like so frowned upon, like, and like the fact that I took girls trick-or-treating to celebrate the devil's holiday.
I can't believe it. But okay, that's a perfect example of how they treated you. In a normal instance, if a youth leader did that, and they have their reasons why they think that's bad, they pull the youth leader aside. They say, this is just like an example of what normal people would do. I think you pull the person aside, you say, hey, our values don't align with this. We don't do trick-or-treating because we're crazy and we hate joy and fun and laughter. And so we need you to not do that. Here's the reasons why X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I'm sure they just talked shit about you and you're the bad one because you do things like that and you're Jezebel.
Well, and they couldn't tell me no because the parents they're like, okay, yeah, our girls want to go trick-or-treating.
They're gonna go ruckus around anyways.
Fantastic. Like, you're a trusted adult. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about when I took you guys to that conference in Portland. Do you remember?
Oh, was it Revolve?
Yeah.
Was it at the Moda Center?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and the Babu person that was also in that group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I went multiple years.
Right, but there was that one year that like I can't remember why your parents didn't, but they were like,
I think that one person's mom always took us. Like we went from like 8th grade on, or maybe actually no, it was probably like 6th or 7th grade. Whenever I started at that private school, 7th grade, that person's mom would take us. I remember we like stayed at really nice hotels.
Yeah,
because I'm poor, so I was like, this is fun.
Poor as shit at that time. So she paid for the hotel, and I took you guys up there. That was honestly like, that was gold, because it's also like I got to like connect with you guys without the other one.
Yeah,
you know,
the other one
without the other one, which was great. But
it's so cute. I'm sad. I've done a lot of therapy, and specifically EMDR therapy. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Where it like helps you go back into your memories, and I have so much repressed. I think it's repressed. Yeah. Memories, and everything is so blurry from that time, and I have done some therapy that was really cool. It helped me get back into the memory, and I would remember stuff. It's crazy. It really works. It's freaky. But there are some memories that I could not get into, that I am like really. I was just talking to our mutual friend that we're still close with, that we grew up with, the other day on a casual 7-hour
just casually
talked for 7 hours on the phone, catching up. And I was like, I have some memories from that time, specifically certain people that I had to be in a prayer shack with, and I cannot get into them. So that's interesting. I don't get the vibe that it was maybe. I know. I don't get the vibe that it was sexual, but I don't know. Yeah. I was like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they like smacked me or something. Oh my God. At the least.
I can't act.
Sorry, trauma warning.
Trigger warning. And I think why that makes me so like, I'm like, oh, this is not a crying kind of podcast, but I think that really does trigger me, because when I left, and everything that I knew, everything that I thought, everything that I was told was good and right and safe was not that.
No.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I believe. I don't know what I think. I don't know what I feel. All I feel is I know how damaged I feel, and how sad and how hurt and how traumatized I feel. And I played part in that to these young girls that I genuinely love and care about. And that was like a whole other weight that I was like, fuck, what did I do? What was I a part of? And
but you didn't know.
I didn't know. And it took me a lot of years. It probably took me about 8 years after leaving to just like internally piece things together and figure out what I believe and what I thought and how I felt. And then at that point to be able to have grace for myself, because I too was just a girl.
You're
like,
just a girl.
I was just a girl. Like, I was literally, when I left, I turned 24. I was 23 when we left. Like, that's a fucking child.
Yeah, you were a baby.
Yeah. And so obviously I'm never like, I believe in being accountable, right? Because we can have our explanation, but it's not an excuse. And so I'm sorry for like whatever. And
literally no, but like
there are people that I've like, for example, the kid who came out as gay. Do you
Which
remember that?
one?
Oh.
I feel like I have so many.
It would have been, you would have been pretty young because
Oh, of course. Yes.
I had just graduated.
Yes,
and
I
so
do know
I
who you're talking
just
about.
became a high school leader. And I don't know if you remember, but we had a whole church service about him and essentially how he was like a sinner and going to hell and we couldn't talk to him. And like, and I never had an issue with, there were a lot of things because again, I grew up going to church, but I wasn't raised in church. Like my parents were not deeply Christian.
Yeah.
My grandmother is, but my parents were not. And so church was an option for me, which note to all you parents, church should always be an option.
Period.
But I never had an issue with people being gay. Like my parents' best friends were lesbians. Like I grew up around lesbians. I never had an issue with that at all.
They were probably some of the safer adults you knew. Maybe not.
They were all alcoholics.
You can't. I guess I can't generalize that, but
one of them was. I mean, they were all alcoholics, but they were unsafe people.
Yeah,
they were safer than some people, but they just were like. I mean, they were all raging alcoholics.
Yeah,
but like whatever. That's just the people that they were surrounded by, not because they were lesbians. You know what I mean? But they were not unsafe people. We could have stayed with them and it would have been fine. And you know what I mean? So I never had an issue with that. And I remember just sitting there being so deeply sad and repulsed. But the problem is I didn't say anything because I couldn't. And I was in a position where it's like, well, I still love him. He's a really good human. And he saw me in a way that other people didn't in a really hard time when I was dealing with some things in my senior year of high school. And I'm like, he's a good person. But you can't say anything. You can't advocate for him. You just whatever. And then I did get a chance. I ran into him in 2012, like the year that we left. I ran into him walking down the street downtown and I was like, oh my God. And I hugged him. I was like, I'm so sorry. I said, I've always loved you. I literally was like, I'm so sorry. Cause I reached out to him and he was like, it was really good to see you. I didn't know how you felt. And I was like, I feel sorry. I feel sorry that I didn't advocate for you, that I didn't say something. I never judged you. I never hated you. But I also didn't advocate for you, and I'm sorry, and I love you, and like whatever, you know. And
but it wasn't a safe. I mean, feel all the things you feel. I just also think it isn't because you're a bad person and you're a coward. Right. It was not safe to do that. You would be in the prayer shack if you did that.
Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. And I also would have been removed from being in your guys' lives. And I wanted to be there.
Yes.
Like even though I was the same age as you guys. I mean, I lived a lot of life. I was but I also have lived a lot of life. I love you.
I'm so glad we're doing this. Sorry, just a moment.
I really am too. But yeah, how did you have to go through like a ton of deliverance?
Yeah. I feel like when I was like 14, 15. Okay. So actually, a zoom out moment to answer this question. Also, I'm going to say some things that probably my mom is going to potentially hear this and doesn't know this about me, but also whatever. I'm super gay. And I
love that.
Always have been.
I love that for you.
And I always knew that, but kind of didn't know how to like I didn't have words for that really.
Yeah.
And also I'm bisexual, so it's like I could just default to what made sense in my environment.
Right.
But that was always okay. So that's one factor about me. I'm very neurodivergent, which means in school I wasn't the best student. I was yapping. And I also love people and I'm really outgoing. So I was like, I'm here for my friends.
Yeah.
Also, our teachers, I mean, that school is its own thing. I mean, it was clear they didn't want to be there. So I didn't respect what we were doing, which I'm sure was really annoying for all of them. And so I was in trouble all the time. But our school was connected to the church.
Yes.
So anything I did bad at school, straight to the prayer shacks. Which
how gross. You're like, oh, you're being a kid, you're being annoying. Go straight into a fucking shed with a giant man, you small girl who's yelling and
pushing your head down, which also just in general, something about the way that they do deliverance for people who are not familiar. it's praying over you and praying the demons out of you and speaking to the demons that they believe are in you and calling them sometimes by name, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Often it's just the spirit of XYZ, whatever they decide you have
The spirit of rebellion, the spirit of fear. My favorite one is, and I've said this before, I think maybe I haven't said it on air. My favorite is that they tried to, in high school I had an eating disorder, and they tried to pray out anorexia.
Who is she?
Who is she? That's like seriously, obviously.
I'm making fun of the way they personify these.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's a fucking mental health disorder. That's not a demon.
It's not.
That's
Well,
demon.
and it has taken years of work, I guess you could call it, with my parents and my own mental health and talking to them about things, explaining that it isn't a spiritual issue. It's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
I am heavily depressed and suicidal. That's not because of a demon. That's because I have a chemical imbalance and I'm also undoing a fuck ton of trauma.
Yeah, it's trauma. Like I have severe anxiety. I've had severe anxiety since I was a small child.
Yes.
And mild OCD since I was a small child. Yeah. My parents didn't fucking care. No, I mean, my family was so dysfunctional. It wasn't even like a religious thing. It literally was just that like my parents did not care.
Yeah.
Like they were not. I have a lot of coping skills, but it's like kind of unfortunate that I have so many fucking coping skills because it was so ignored. It was out of necessity. And I went from one traumatic experience into a different traumatic experience that also could not see. Like I was having panic attacks. Like I was having such severe anxiety deeply in church, like, and where you could literally, I would be standing there and I would get a wave of anxiety and you could watch hives break out on my chest and crawl up my neck, and they were like, it's a demon, and then they would put me through fucking deliverance, which was just inducing panic attacks.
Right.
And I lived like a year on Benadryl.
Oh, for the hives?
Yeah, because I would break out in the hives all the time.
Which also, it's interesting you saying that. There were so many women specifically in that church that had severe anxiety and would have rashes.
Oh.
Like I can think of multiple of our friends where that's a thing about them that they still deal with. And
Wild.
like that is probably partly because severe anxiety not addressed and then put in an environment like that.
Well, yeah, your nervous system
Your
is
nervous
not settled
system,
at all.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you're told you're evil for it.
Right.
Ugh.
So what happens when the spirit leaves you?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Circling us back. I love how excited you are about this part.
Like,
get to the exorcism.
I mean, really, it's no.
Well, in my experience, I faked it because I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Well, because they're also
sneeze, cough, yawn.
Yeah, definitely. Also, speaking in tongues. Do you know about that?
Oh my god. Does it make you really uncomfortable?
Yeah, I joke about it a lot because first of all, it was a room full of people stimming. 100%. My partner and I will do fake. Sorry, Mom. We'll do fake speaking in tongues sometimes because it's really fun. It's like, I don't like doing it because I get a little bit like, ugh. But so I had my word. I just said onion over and over and over because they were like, if you don't speak in tongues, there's something wrong with your connection to God.
Yeah.
And so, and it was like, it wasn't completely conscious that I was faking it.
No.
But there was a part of me that was like, it was like so compartmentalized.
But you always I love to hear you talk about it because same girl, same.
Yes.
And again, I was in a position of like leadership, like an example, and I was having the same thoughts.
Onion.
I didn't say onion. I can't.
What was your word? Shabadai.
Probably.
They love that one.
They love it.
I wonder what it means in that language.
Literally nothing.
It's stimming. It's just stimming.
It's literally nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think again, it sounds like did any of your, I mean, obviously some you don't recall, but did your deliverance sessions get aggressive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Holding you down?
Yes. There were these two pastors who had kids my age, and they were the pastors of like the younger kids. But they had been my pastors when I was a young kid. So for some reason, sometimes when I would, well, also he was the principal of the school I went to. That had a big part of it. But when I would get deliverance, often I would be with them, and I actually felt less unsafe with them. It felt weird. Not good, but they were like,
because here's the deal is they
weren't trying to dominate you. Like,
no, they're gentle people.
Yes.
They're very gentle people. They
know me since I was like a little tiny kid. Too.
They also operate in love. Like I don't have like I don't keep connected with them because they still believe and feel in a way that to me I cut like the majority of people off because it didn't feel safe, and so I do hold them at a distant. I mean, they're distant anyway, but like social media distance.
Yes,
However, I do think that they're hard. It's kind of like the pastors that left. They operated in the same things, but the intent behind it was not malice. The intent behind it was not evil and
they
control.
genuinely believed it.
They genuinely believed it.
It wasn't like a grasp for control to get their claws. I really think they genuinely believe it and genuinely were operating out of a place of caring. Because that's what they were taught that looked like. But
I would equate them to operating in that on a level that like I operated in that. Like where it's like there's grace there. And, you know, I don't know where they're at, what they think, what they believe now, but
I think, I will say whenever my mom visits them, because they've moved away, I love talking to her after because they open her mind to bigger things. So they're still in it, but I respect them and care about them a lot.
All the gods bless them.
All the gods bless them. Yes, but so that was sometimes I got to do it with them.
Sometimes you got
sometimes
to be
I got
safe.
exercised by those people.
Sometimes you were having safe exorcisms.
Yes, safe exorcisms. Then when the other pastor who often dealt with it, dealt with my issues, the head. What was his title?
He was the deliverance
pastor.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also knows Lenny Kravitz and brought him to our church a lot.
Listen,
what?
Okay, first of all, I'm so glad that you say this because I literally tell people, I'm like, yeah, I've met Lenny Kravitz multiple times.
He told me I was a good singer one time, which I'm like, first of all, liar. Second of all, thank you so much. Your scarf is incredible.
Also, you're so short and beautiful.
So
and I'm
short,
obsessed with you.
but beautiful. Yes,
so
shorter
beautiful.
than but doesn't go with short. I just mean, I thought he was taller on TV.
Well,
He's actually
he wears heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so cutie.
I have good memories. I thought he was really nice.
He was so nice.
Also,
was
why
like,
was he coming to our church? In the middle of, literally in a field.
In a field. In an old
How embarrassing.
School.
Actually, I'm kind of embarrassed all of a sudden. I hope he doesn't remember.
I got married there. But you know what? That's why I did a vow renewal.
There you go. Oh, you did.
I did a surprise. I did for my birthday. I did a surprise. I invited everybody. To
Wait, was it your coffin birthday? Because I saw that and that looked awesome.
No, that was my funeral birthday. That was the year after I did my surprise vow renewal birthday, and then my sister died later that year, and I had to throw her funeral, so I threw my own because I'm fucked up and weird.
I love that. That's so good. You have always been funny. That is so Kaci to me.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, but to circle back, Lenny Kravitz, side note.
Yeah,
love
okay,
that.
But I have to I'm so glad that you said that because I literally have told people I've met Lenny Kravitz multiple times, and I'm like, who actually fucking believes that I met Lenny Kravitz at my culty church in the middle of a fucking field?
Yeah,
we multiple times.
Sometimes
so
I'm like, this really is a simulation. Like the guy playing Sims with us was just like, let's throw Lenny over there. Let's just let him have a little side quest over in this field church.
Like what?
Trap them in a church and see what happens.
Yeah, literally. I remember the first time he came, I was literally singing on the worship team, and he was like directly in front of where I was too. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, I wanna get away. Fly away. Like, just let us sing that one. I want to show him how good I am at it.
It's like Jesus' song because you want to fly away, like heaven.
Yes, totally. I want to get away out of this church
from my sin. I want to fly away to heaven.
And Okay, so back to exorcism.
Lenny Kravitz and exorcism.
The reason we got there is because the head pastor.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew Lenny Kravitz.
It was like
so
his
random.
uncle was like
his drummer.
At some point. Yeah.
But when I would have sessions with him and the your ex bestie, because that's usually who it was so intense. Also, the head honcho pastor, who we haven't even gotten into. I mean, I don't even know if there's time. Is there like after dessert menu? Is there like the little aperitif? Like what comes after dessert?
I'm just gonna tell you one thing. One time, and I had to have been 21, 22, and Josh and I got called in because we didn't get to go through presbytery because we weren't tithing. Why weren't we tithing?
Because you were poor? Because all your time was going to volunteering at this church?
Because I was.
Did they pay you at all?
$50.
Oh, it really was $50?
Literally $50.
Like one time or once a month?
Once a month, $50.
That's so nice. And I bet you that didn't even cover the Starbucks you bought us all.
Probably. No.
The Java Crunch Frappuccinos that you paid for me, that was that $50.
$50. Yeah. But my husband was in that meeting and then he had to leave for some reason. And then I think he started to go to the bathroom. And in that time, he was like, you're like really attractive and you have like almost everything going for you. But you could really stand to like, because you remember I used to wear my hair up all the time. That was the style. The poof, the big poof and the messy bun.
Yes.
And I only wore flats. My 37-year-old self thanks my 20-year-old self for not wearing heels because now I can wear them and my feet aren't dead.
Yes.
But anyways, and also ballet flats were like
they were in
the trend.
Toms.
Puke. I could smell.
I could smell them and ballet flats. Honestly,
especially because I could afford like $2 ballet.
Yeah,
flats.
Ross ballet flats.
Yeah. Anyway, he was like, "Yeah, you have like so much going for you, but you could really just stand to like wear your hair down and put a pair of heels on at some point."
Really, just a side note for the listeners and for you, the head pastor is, I mean, where do you even start? He really, really loves sexualizing women very directly. And had a lot of opinions about how women should be, how his wife should be, how his
which then his wife
get into it.
Yeah, which then
his child bride.
Yeah, which then his wife would tell us how to be, which then we would need to coach you how to be. Yeah. And like, oh God, I think that
it's so crazy talking about all of this because I feel like now that the veil has been lifted and we can see all of the bullshit, it sounds insane. And I think about, hey mom, if you're listening, we probably sound really dramatic and crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just actually how it is.
It's genuine.
Like it genuinely is how it is. It's really bad. There's so much I could say about that guy. I feel like that's its own
thing.
7. But
and I think again, you don't see it until you see it. And I think the hardest thing for me is the people who have witnessed it so many times, the people like me, the people like you, the people like all these other people that we love and that have left. And they don't. And they just, they stay. And we are the ones that are going to hell. And like, if it's going to hell or living like that, I'll fucking go to hell.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Literally. Well, that was when I was deconstructing my faith and like talking to my parents about how I don't think I believe in God anymore. And I was like having these really open conversations with them. One of the things I was saying to my dad is if the God who decided that everyone has to believe in him or they're going to go to hell, so these people who live on an island who've never been told about this are just all going to burn forever because they don't know. If that God is real, then I don't want to worship him. That's bullshit. That's controlling. If that was a husband, that'd be evil. That's gross. Like, why am I supposed to be the bride of Christ?
I'm a child.
I'm literally a child.
Little girl. I don't want to be his bride.
Yeah. Oh, I just feel like there's so much we barely even scratched. We've never cracked. We barely cracked the surface.
barely
cracked the surface.
Yeah. I mean, there is so much. So what age did you officially leave?
So when I graduated high school, I was 17, and that was in like May. And then August, I turned 18. And 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I said bye-bye, and I moved to Australia and accidentally joined a cult there. So that was cool. I was like, all I wanted was to get away, Lenny Kravitz style, and fly away. And because I just really, I'm so sensitive to like being like, I'm very independent and I'm sensitive to control. If I feel any bit of control, like someone's trying to manipulate me or control me, I'm very hyper aware of it.
Yeah.
And so I think I just was at the point where I was like, I have to get out of this. Like, I need to know what I think for myself, what I even believe. Like, I had a lot of doubt then, where I was kind of like, I think I believe in God and I think I believe in Jesus, but I don't really know if I do, because all the stuff that is proof was kind of fake to me, like speaking in tongues and demons and stuff like that.
Well, and it's like when we were taught, when people questioned us, like, right, when they questioned us about our belief in God or whatever, like the answers that we were taught to rebuttal with were just so like bullshit.
Yes.
It was, well, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What
Literally.
did you just say?
Literally.
What,
Yeah. What
you
does that
say
even
anything?
mean?
You said nothing. So
Yeah.
you have no...
Describe faith. What does that mean to you? Because that was also the thing. Like, they're just, you have all the answers, but you don't actually even understand what it is. But if you leave, it's bad.
Yeah.
And you'll be shunned. So, yeah, I turned 18. I was planning on backpacking Australia because I was really naive and thought that I was really tough and could do anything as you do at 18. And my plan was to backpack Australia and do woofing, the like farm.
Okay.
Do you know what that is? Yeah, it's like you volunteer working at farms and they give you food and board, and then you can like explore different countries and places. So that was my plan, and my mom was like, I know you're 18, but I really, really, really don't want you to do that because I don't think it's safe. And I think there was a part of me that knew that I was being a little naive. And she's like, but I know of this thing, and this person in our church has done it. And I was actually really close with that person.
Yeah.
But that was like towards the end.
I actually have no shade to that person.
I don't either.
At all.
I still don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zero,
I think
actually.
in the similar way to how they like to paint you really bad, that's a person who I think got a lot of criticism and got picked apart a lot.
Even being there.
Yes.
Even being there.
And I do think that she was a very genuine person and was dealing with a tough family.
Yeah.
A tough family, and was the only girl in that family, and girls in that environment get treated
Are we talking about a different person?
Oh, not that person. Wait, who are you thinking of?
The one I was thinking of.
I just don't know.
Okay, anyway, that person.
Okay. I had been kind of still hanging out with this person who was, I guess, kind of a youth leader at the church towards the end of my high school career and my career in high school. And she had joined Youth with a Mission, which is a cult. But I didn't know that. And a lot of people don't know that. It's like actually the most token stereotypical cult possible. It's crazy that people still are sending their children there.
I like reviewed it.
You reviewed it? Oh, like wrote a review?
No,
or like
I just read about it for our child that wanted to travel after high school.
Oh, gotcha. Really? Yeah. Don't let them do it. Well, do whatever you want.
She does. They don't want to let her do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was a cult. Don't send your kids there, people. It's crazy. And I'm rambling. My mom.
How much damage do you feel like that one did comparatively?
A lot.
Okay.
But in similar ways. Like, it was weird because I was getting away from this church I grew up in and all the people I grew up with, and I didn't have much world outside of that. So then I moved to the literal opposite side of the world. Like, there's no further point.
The toilet flushes the opposite way.
It sure doesn't. I actually don't think it does. I don't know.
You never watched.
I don't think, because their toilets also, this is what I remember. They don't have toilets that spin. They have those ones that are like, like fleshy. They're more fleshy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure they do have spinny ones, but I just remember that was my... Okay, my mom wanted me to join that as a way to still travel because they do mission trips through that organization. And I think that the damage that place caused was just really different. That's actually a good question. I feel like I haven't really even tried to sort that out before. I probably need to think about that one more.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it caused like damage in a different way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we'll have you back. You sort through that.
Yeah.
Then we'll have you back for another episode. So you've deconstructed. First of all, I love that you are living authentically you, and that you're out. You're proud.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
And I hope that if it is heard by your parents, that the right response is given.
Thank you.
And if it's not, I'll be your mom.
Are you my mother?
I'm your mother.
The thing is, though, for real, I think that it was such an intense environment that I really had to create my own, like, I am my own mommy.
Yeah.
I am mama. Like, I don't care what people think. I don't really have those conversations with my parents because it's not even fear of rejection.
You just don't care.
I just don't really care to have that conversation because I feel like I know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
I do want to eventually. There's other factors into why I haven't had that conversation with them yet. I think there's...
Yeah.
The blow up it's not time for the blow up yet.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But
It's hard to do, like, in a very different way. Like, yeah. I mean, I can understand, like, maybe I don't think it's the same because you do have a relationship with your parents and your family and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I'm like, it's interesting to be somebody who just, like, doesn't give a shit what your parents think about you.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm like, you did nothing but cause harm. So, like, I don't really, like, care. And also, you're not living a better life than me. I'm not, like, and not because I'm better. Like, you're not making better decisions than me.
Yeah.
For me to care how you judge or, like, try and give me advice on my life.
Yeah, and I do think that there was absolutely a time where I did care. I'm definitely not just like this perfect person that walked away unscathed. I think my parents and my relationship with my family is the biggest heartbreak I've ever had. It broke me because when I told them I wasn't a Christian anymore, it was a phone call when I was living in Arizona. And my parents, first of all, I thought I was just talking to my mom, and my dad was there the whole time. And that, like, broke trust for me because I was talking to my mom about things that I didn't want my dad to hear.
Yeah.
And then I was processing with her these really big feelings I was having. And when I told them that I didn't think I was a Christian anymore, after that phone call, they took me off their insurance and they did not talk to me for like a month. And I also had been borrowing a car while I was in Arizona from someone up here who was a church family that was very wealthy. And they let me borrow this car because I just moved back from Australia not long before that. And my dad on that phone call was like, well, just so you know, I'm going to let the family know that you're not a Christian anymore, and they're going to want that car back because they lent that to you under the guise that you were a Christian.
Because only Christians can drive cars.
Non-Christians are bad drivers.
Don't you get behind a wheel if you are not a born again Christian.
Don't even think about it. Jesus, take the wheel.
They're the only ones. Literally take it from her hands.
Take it from
her
hands.
Kick her ass out of the car. You know, don't you think the wheel take all four and the body and the seats too?
Yeah. No, literally. And so that was weird. And they took me off their insurance. I was 22. They took me off their insurance and didn't talk to me for... In my head, they blocked me, but I'm kind of scared to say that confidently. I think they just ignored me. Because I do think they were still like on my location, watching my location all the time, and scared that I was gonna die in a ditch, which I think they still do and think.
Because you're a non-Christian.
Because I'm a non-Christian. I'm not under their covering anymore.
That's the only thing that can happen to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And part of that conversation was that I wasn't under their covering anymore, which is a very Christian lingo
Makes
thing.
my skin crawly.
Yeah.
I get that.
And it was really hard for years after that because I was deconstructing. I think I had this delusion that I was going to come out to them as not a non-believer, but still have them as a safe place to like process and
Because you should.
because that's what parents
Because that's
should
what
do.
parents should do.
But
Because
instead, I
parents
was
should
told
love
I'm
you.
not under their covering anymore, which means they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart. I was so deeply depressed after that. I developed a panic attack. I don't know if you call it disorder, chronic panic attacks, at least one a day for like a year and a half.
Because it's grief. Like, that's grief,
Yes.
Lily.
It was grief and just my whole world shattering. Like, even... it was just like I think I just really still trusted their unconditional love
Right.
as my parents, and then it just that happening made me go, oh, this whole dogma, this whole Christian belief that they are living under, if I'm not under that, I'm not a part of. I don't get to be loved in the same way. I don't think they see it that way, but that is what I experienced, and it was really fucking hard.
Yeah.
But it also kind of like my joke, I'm my own mommy. It was
Yeah.
like I did kind of just parent myself in a weird way.
Yeah.
I dove really hard into therapy. I did also make questionable decisions for sure.
You're also 20-something and, like,
Mhm.
you know, leaving a cult and like your whole...
Right. I was
you were
deconstructing
also-
so much.
You were 22. You were a child. Like, there's
Yes.
so much grace in that for you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, of course you were making questionable decisions.
Yeah.
You were sheltered, and then
Mhm.
you were abandoned by the people who are supposed to love you the most. And
Yes.
and also then you didn't have a safe place to go to when you made those questionable decisions.
Mhm.
And so you just had to decide, like, nobody's telling me that they are questionable in a loving way, so
Yeah.
it's probably okay for me to do this. And also, you were hurting, and like that is grief. That feeling that you were feeling, like that is grief. That was you grieving, and so you're just like, well, fuck it. Not even my parents don't care. Why should I care?
Exactly. And I, it was like every structure I had ever known was just crumbling at that point, and I didn't feel like I had safety for myself. So the panic attacks, the grief, all of that. I don't know. I mean, yeah. And again, hey mom, if you're listening, like it's awkward because it's like I really care about my family and love my family, but there's so much. It's so complicated.
Yeah.
So I think that probably wasn't fully how she felt, but on one hand, she's kind of a victim of this environment as well. She also isn't fully a victim. She's been a part of it for a long time and has seen a lot of garbage and has stayed, which is really hard for me to understand, kind of like you were saying earlier.
Yeah. Because again, I love them.
Yes.
I love them, but I have to
everyone, it's like there's this part of it that's like everyone who's still there who I used to love, it's like I see them as victims still. And like they're stuck in this thing, but
there's only a couple people that I think.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people
It's
there
true.
that I love still.
It's true.
Yeah, it's probably just them.
I do think I actually mostly judge and feel really bitter. But there are people like that where it's hard for me because I'm like, I don't understand why you're still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I really think I probably...
Anyway, so that, it's all a lot. It's all a lot. And I think that like navigating family stuff, like you're so seen right here. Like obviously I understand the cult of it all, but like I also deeply understand, and I have a different family dynamic, right? Like I think the reason that I can relate is because I was close to my mom. Like I was very close with my mom, even though my life was absolute chaos and like whatever, I was very close with my mom. And so I can empathize with that. Like maybe she wasn't also in a cult, but we did have that kind of bond.
Totally.
And it is a very painful thing to navigate, and it is just like grief, and we're always a work in progress, you know?
Truly. I mean, I still just have that human desire to be able to call my mom and talk to her about things going on in my life, but I can't. It's just a different world.
And so do I. I can't tell you the number of times. So,
I mean, I literally have already, because I do want kids, I think. It goes back and forth. I do want kids, but then the world is the way it is. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's really hard.
But there's a part of me that wants kids. And a big thing that makes that hard for me is I don't really feel like I can call my mom and ask her specifically with like, I mean, like just parenting things. Yeah. My mom was a really good mom and she had 4 kids and she did, I don't know how she did that. And she moved away from her family and raised us all. It's crazy. She's incredible. Not meaning to say I could never call her to ask for help, but there's things with like, how do I talk to them about their emotions? How do I, like, I was talking to, like, what are you going to do when like your kid is old enough to date? Like, what are the rules going to be? Because we didn't even have a rule. Like, I was just point blank not allowed to date. Like there was no in between. Like, and so I actually have 2 women in my life who are my friends' moms who I deeply respect and love. And I've asked when I have kids, can you be someone I can call? Because I need that. Like that's so important. I'm sure you having a kid and I
didn't ask anybody how to parent. I didn't want like truly. I wanted nobody's opinion. Who I am now,
I'm
like
scared.
Oh God,
I'm gonna fuck this kid up like I was.
No, I mean, you always have that feeling, but I'm like, I would skin myself alive for that kid. And so there's not somebody who is going to tell me better how to raise him than myself. And so I don't know. I just like, I don't like people telling me what to do. I spent
really
so much of my life with that. So I mean, I wish I could be like, yeah, totally relate. Oh, like, no,
I'm just not very confident with things I've never done. Like I like to know how to do things. I have a hard time going into something blind, and so it's probably me just prepping myself. Like
just so normal.
Yeah,
like, so
totally.
Normal.
I'll probably be more like you when it's actually happening. I'm like, I don't want. I know.
Yeah. Well, I hate to cut this. I have to have you back on, or we have to have you back on, because we're actually like reaching 2 hours. Which is our longest,
crazy.
It's our longest podcast, but
you can cut my rambles. I think I rambled a lot.
Okay. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
and
you.
I can't wait to go have a drink.
I know.
And name names, girl.
It's gonna be so good.
Okay. Anyway, we will catch you next time, everybody.
Bye.